A week before my wedding, husband's parents demanded I return the $20,000 loan they gifted us. We never said gift. She smirked. My fiancé was speechless. You told me it was for our honeymoon. I threw the envelope down and said, guess you'll be honeymooning with mommy then. His jaw dropped as I walked out. I always imagined the week before my wedding would be stressful, but the good kind of stress. You know, final dress fittings, seating chart dilemmas, maybe a small panic ADTCK over vows. What I didn't imagine was sitting in my own kitchen, staring at my soon-to-be-in-laws as they demanded I return the $20,000 they had gifted us a year ago. Margot and Steven, Brandon's parents, sat across from me at the table, looking far too smug for my liking. Margot, with her perfectly manicured nails tapping against her coffee cup, was the one to drop the bomb. So, about that money, she said, her voice light, almost casual. I frowned. What about it? The $20,000 we gave you, she continued, flipping her wrist like it was nothing. We need it back. Silence. I blinked, waiting for the punchline. Surely, this was some kind of sick joke. What? I finally said. You know, the money, she repeated, slower this time, like I was a child who needed things explained in small words. We never said it was a gift. My stomach flipped. My eyes shot to Brandon, my fiancé, the man I had spent 3 years with, planning a life together. Surely, he would shut this down. He had to shut this down. But he didn't. Instead, he looked uncomfortable, rubbing the back of his neck, avoiding my eyes like a coward. Brandon? I prompted, my voice sharper than I intended. He exhaled heavily. I didn't think they'd ask for it back. I swear I felt something inside me crack. I leaned forward, gripping the edge of the table. You told me it was for our honeymoon, I reminded him, my voice tight with disbelief. Margot shrugged. We assumed you'd be responsible and save it, she said breezily. Not blow it on a vacation. I almost laughed. Almost. Except nothing about this was funny. I was supposed to be marrying this man in 7 days. I had spent months picking the perfect dress, choosing the flowers, coordinating every little detail. I had poured my heart and soul into a future with him. And now, I was realizing too late that his mother would always be in control. My fingers clenched around the envelope sitting on the table, the one with what was left of the money. I picked it up, my heart pounding in my chest. Then, I threw it down in front of them. Guess you'll be honeymooning with mommy then, I spat. Brandon's mouth fell open. Margot's smirk grew. Steven, silent until now, cleared his throat. Tessa, there's no need to be dramatic. I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Oh, I'm being dramatic? I shot back. You handed us that money a year ago and said, use it however you want. You smiled, shook my hand, told me you were happy to contribute. And now, 7 days before the wedding, you just decide you want it back. Margot had the audacity to roll her eyes. You'll understand when you have kids, she said dismissively. Sometimes, priorities change. Priorities. My mind reeled. What priorities? They were millionaires. Not once in 3 years had they ever acted like 20 grand was anything more than pocket change to them. This isn't about the money, I said slowly, realization dawning. This is about control. Brandon shifted uncomfortably. Tess, come on. I rounded on him. No, you come on, Brandon. You knew about this, didn't you? He hesitated. That was all the confirmation I needed. Oh my God, I breathed. You knew, and you didn't tell me. He looked miserable. I thought we could figure it out. Figure it out? My voice broke. Brandon, we've spent most of it. We booked flights, hotels, excursions, things we wouldn't have done if we knew it was a loan. Margot sniffed. Well, that's not our problem, dear. Something in me snapped. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. You know what? Keep your damn money. And while you're at it, keep him too. Brandon's eyes widened. Wait, what? I grabbed my purse and turned for the door. Tessa, wait. He scrambled to his feet. You don't mean that. It's just a misunderstanding, I spun around. No, you misunderstood. I thought I was marrying you. Turns out I was marrying your mother. Silence. Margot looked smug. Steven looked exhausted. Brandon looked like he had just now realized he f'd up. And me? I felt like I could breathe for the first time in months. So I walked out. And I didn't look back. I didn't cry on the drive home. Not once. I thought maybe I should, after all. I had just walked away from my wedding, from my fiancé, from 3 years of my life. But all I felt was relief. The second I stepped into my apartment, my best friend, Delilah, knew something was wrong. She had been staying with me for the past week, helping with last-minute wedding details. Right now, she was sitting cross-legged on my couch in sweats, a half-eaten pizza on the coffee table. She looked up from her phone and immediately frowned. What happened? I let out a shaky laugh as I dropped my purse onto the floor. I just called off my wedding. Her eyes widened. What? So I told her. Every single thing. How Margot and Steven blindsided me with their little stunt, how Brandon knew and said nothing, how I threw the money at them and walked out. By the time I finished, Delilah was staring at me in shock. Then, she did something that surprised me. She grinned. About damn time, she said, grabbing a slice of pizza and shoving it into her mouth. I blinked. What? She chewed, swallowed, then pointed at me. You've been miserable for months, Tessa. Hell, for years. But every time I tried to say something, you'd shut me down. I figured you had to figure it out yourself. I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it. Because she wasn't wrong. I had been miserable. I had spent 3 years bending over backward to accommodate Brandon, his overbearing mother, his entire family. Every decision, no matter how small, had to go through them. Where we lived, how we spent holidays, what color our damn kitchen towels were. It was suffocating. And now? I was free. I sank onto the couch, grabbing a slice of pizza for myself. So, what now? Delilah shrugged. Now? We drink, we eat this pizza, and tomorrow, we tell the world that Tessa is a single woman again. I laughed. A real, genuine laugh. Sounds like a plan. But the next morning, I woke up to chaos. My phone was blowing up, calls, texts, voicemails. And not just from Brandon. My mom, my dad, my bridesmaids. Even people I hadn't spoken to in years. I groggily reached for my phone and clicked on one of the texts from my cousin. WTF? Are you okay? Call me. Before I could process that, Delilah stormed into my bedroom, waving her phone in the air. Tessa? What the actual hell? I sat up. What? She turned her screen toward me. It was a Facebook post. From Margot. It is with heavy hearts that we announce the cancellation of Brandon and Tessa's wedding. While this has been a heartbreaking time for our family, we ask for privacy as we process this betrayal. We are devastated by Tessa's actions, but we trust that the truth will come to light soon. I gaped. Betrayal? Oh, honey, Delilah said, shaking her head. That woman just declared war. I stared at Delilah's phone, my stomach twisting into knots. Betrayal? What the hell was Margot even talking about? I yanked my own phone off the nightstand and scrolled through the notifications. Dozens of texts, missed calls, and messages from people I barely even spoke to. My aunt, my childhood best friend, a coworker I hadn't seen in 2 years. Everyone had something to say. I opened the first text from my mom. Mom, call me. Now, that was never a good sign. Before I could even press the call button, my phone lit up with an incoming call from her. I sighed and answered. Mom, what the hell is going on? Tessa, she demanded. I ran a hand through my hair, still groggy from sleep. Did you read Margot's post? Yes. And so has everyone else. People are calling me, asking if you CH'd on Brandon. I nearly choked. CH'd? Mom exhaled sharply. Tessa, she's making it sound like you did something horrible. I told everyone I'd talk to you first, but honey, people are running with it. Your Uncle Mark straight up called me to say, I'm so sorry for what Tessa did to Brandon. What the hell did you do? I laughed in disbelief. Oh, I don't know, Mom. Maybe I refused to let his parents blackmail me over a $20,000 gift they suddenly wanted back a week before my wedding. Silence. Then, quietly, what? So I told her. Everything. By the time I finished, she was breathing heavily on the other end. You mean to tell me that those snakes gave you money, told you to spend it however you wanted, waited until you were days away from walking down the aisle, and then tried to trap you into paying it back? Yep. And Brandon knew? Oh, he definitely knew. Mom let out a long, furious breath. That manipulative little, she cut herself off. Honey, you did the right thing. I exhaled in relief. Thank you. But you need to get ahead of this now, she warned. Margot is playing dirty. She's making it sound like you broke his heart. Like you did something unforgivable. Delilah was already nodding beside me. She's right. We have to fight back. I groaned, rubbing my temples. I don't want to turn this into a social media circus. Well, sweetheart, Mom said dryly, Margot already did. She wasn't wrong. Margot had always been a master manipulator. She played the role of the perfect mother in public, gracious, generous, endlessly supportive. But behind closed doors? She was calculating. She pulled strings, planted ideas, twisted narratives to suit her version of events. And right now, she was painting me as the villain. I wasn't about to let that happen. I pulled up Facebook, took a deep breath, and typed out a post. To everyone reaching out, I appreciate your concern. To clarify, I did not betray Brandon. What I did do was refuse to be financially manipulated by his parents, who, after gifting us money over a year ago, suddenly demanded it back a week before the wedding. When I realized Brandon had known and said nothing, I made the best decision for myself and walked away. That's the truth. Anyone who knows me knows I have nothing to hide. I stared at the post for a moment, heart pounding, then hit post. Done. Delilah peeked over my shoulder, grinning. Oh, this is about to be fun. And she was right. Because within minutes, the internet exploded. An hour later, my post had over 5,000 shares. The comments were a war zone. Some people were fully on my side. Good for you, girl. Dodged a massive bullet. Financial manipulation is abuse. You did the right thing. Brandon's mom sounds like a total nightmare. But others? Not so much. Wow. You don't just walk away from a relationship over money. Shows your true colors. Maybe his parents had a reason. $20,000 is a lot of money. And then, of course, the worst ones. Gold digger. You just wanted a free honeymoon. I almost let it get to me. Almost. Until Delilah snatched my phone away. Nope. We are not reading the haters today. I sighed. You're right. This is exhausting. Then let's get out of here, she said. Breakfast? Mimosas? Something fun. The idea of leaving my apartment, stepping outside where people might recognize me, made me hesitate. But then I thought about Margot. About the way she probably expected me to crumble under the weight of all this. Screw that. I grabbed my purse. Let's go. We had just sat down at a little brunch cafe when my phone buzzed. A new text. From Brandon. We need to talk. I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. Delilah glanced over. What does he want? I had no idea. But something told me this wasn't over yet. Not even close. I stared at my phone, Brandon's text glaring up at me. We need to talk. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What was there to talk about? His silence at that kitchen table had said everything. But curiosity, or maybe stubbornness, got the better of me. I typed back, about what? 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then nothing. Classic Brandon. Always hesitating, always unsure. Delilah, sipping her mimosa, leaned over. He responded. Sort of, I muttered, shoving my phone onto the table. 3 dots, then nothing. She snorted. Ugh, that man has the spine of a wet paper towel. I exhaled, running a hand through my hair. What if I just ignore him? Delilah raised an eyebrow. Do you want to talk to him? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Did I want an apology? An explanation? Did I need closure? Before I could decide, my phone buzzed again. Brandon, please. Just meet me. 1 hour? Our place. Our place. Like it still belonged to us. I swallowed. He wants to meet at his apartment. Delilah wrinkled her nose. Oof. Bad idea. Yeah. But I stood up anyway. Tessa, she warned. I sighed. I just need to hear what he has to say. Then I'll be done. For good. She looked unconvinced, but waved me off. Fine. But if you don't text me in an hour, I'm showing up with a baseball bat. I grinned. Fair. And with that, I left. Brandon still lived in the apartment we had shared for over a year. I had moved out weeks before the wedding because his parents, shocker, wanted him living alone before marriage. Said it was tradition. In reality, it was just another way to control him. I knocked once before the door swung open. And there he was. His brown hair was messier than usual, his eyes tired, like he hadn't slept. He had always been the clean-cut, put-together type, but right now, he just looked lost. Hey, he said, voice hoarse. I crossed my arms. I don't have all day, Brandon. What do you want? He stepped back. Can you come in? I hesitated. This was dangerous. Not physically, but emotionally. I had spent years in this apartment, thinking we were building something real. Now, standing in the doorway, I felt like a stranger. Still, I walked inside. Everything looked the same. The couch we picked out together. The ugly lamp he insisted on keeping. Even the smell, his cologne mixed with fresh laundry, hit me like a punch to the gut. I took a deep breath and turned to him. Talk. Brandon ran a hand down his face, exhaling. Tessa. I screwed up. I stayed silent. I should have told you about my parents. About the money. I didn't think it would turn into this. I let out a sharp laugh. Oh, really? Because it turned into exactly what they wanted. A test. A way to make sure I obeyed them before I even became your wife. He flinched. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Brandon? I snapped. Explain it to me. His jaw clenched. They were never going to keep the money, okay? They just wanted to see how you'd react. I blinked. You're joking. He shook his head. I gaped at him. You knew? You knew they were pulling this little test on me. I thought it would blow over, he defended. I thought if you just went along with it, they'd give it back after the wedding. I took a step back, disgust curling in my stomach. Went along with it? You expected me to just smile and accept their manipulation. He ran a frustrated hand through his hair. Tessa, this is just how they are. No, I cut him off. This is how you are. Spineless. Afraid of your own parents. He swallowed. I just wanted to keep the peace. I shook my head, feeling the weight of everything settle in my chest. At my expense. Brandon exhaled. I don't want to lose you. I laughed bitterly. Brandon, you lost me the second you let your mother call the shots. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. Tessa, wait. I pulled back. No. You wait. Wait for your mother to tell you who you should date next, because it sure as hell won't be me. His face crumpled. But I didn't care. I walked out, and I didn't look back. But when I got to my car, my phone buzzed again. A new message. Not from Brandon. From Margot. I hope you're ready for what comes next. My blood ran cold. Because if there was one thing I knew about Margot, it was this. She never lost. And she was about to play dirty. I stared at my phone, Margot's message burning into my brain. I hope you're ready for what comes next. I had no idea what that meant, but I knew one thing for sure. Margot wasn't done. I climbed into my car, my hands gripping the wheel tighter than necessary. My heart was pounding, but I wasn't scared. No, I was angry. I drove straight to Delilah's place. When she opened the door, she took one look at my face and sighed. Oh boy, what did he say? I pushed past her into the apartment. It wasn't just him. Margot texted me. Delilah groaned, closing the door behind me. Jesus. What now? I showed her the message. She read it, then whistled. Wow, that's a straight-up villain text. I slumped onto her couch. I have no idea what she's planning, but I know it's not good. Delilah plopped down beside me, crossing her arms. So, what do we do? I rubbed my temples. I don't know. I was hoping she'd just let this die, but Delilah snorted. Oh, honey, that woman is thriving off this drama. She wasn't wrong. And I found out just how right she was the next morning. I woke up to a missed call from my boss. We weren't exactly close, so my stomach twisted immediately. Something was wrong. I called her back. Hey, is everything okay? She hesitated. Tessa, I wanted to give you a heads up. Someone sent an anonymous email to HR about you. I sat up straight. What? They accused you of embezzling company funds. My blood ran cold. What? That's insane. I've never, I know, she assured me quickly. HR isn't taking it seriously, but they have to investigate. Just sit tight, okay? I barely processed the rest of the call. There was only one person who could be behind this. Margot. I hung up and immediately texted Delilah. She's trying to get me fired. Seconds later, my phone rang. Are you kidding me? Delilah practically shouted. I wish, I muttered, pacing my apartment. She's unhinged. What do we do? I clenched my jaw. We fight back. Delilah grinned. Now that's what I'm talking about. That afternoon, I put on my best blazer and walked straight into HR. I sat down, folded my hands, and said calmly, I'd like to know who accused me. The HR rep, Joanne, sighed. I'm sorry, but the complaint was anonymous. I leaned forward. Look, I know exactly who sent it. And I can prove that they're trying to ruin my life out of personal revenge. Joanne looked interested. Go on. I took a deep breath. I just called off my wedding. My ex's mother is behind this. She's manipulative, controlling, and hates that I walked away. Joanne frowned. That's an extreme move. I nodded. Exactly. And if you look at my records, you'll see I have never been involved in anything suspicious. This is a smear campaign. Joanne leaned back. Well, we do have security measures in place. The accusation had no proof attached. It was just a vague claim. So, will this affect my job? She shook her head. No, but we are required to log it. I exhaled. That's fine. As long as my job is safe. I walked out feeling slightly better. But one thing was clear, Margot wasn't just trying to ruin my reputation. She wanted to destroy me. And I wasn't about to let that happen. That night, I sat in my apartment, scrolling through my texts. People were still messaging me, choosing sides, feeding into the drama. And then, my phone rang. An unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? A pause. Then, you don't know what you've started, Tessa. It was Margot. And her voice was ice cold. I gripped my phone, my knuckles turning white. You don't know what you've started, Tessa. I let out a slow breath, steadying myself. Margot, what the hell do you want? She gave a soft chuckle, low and calculated. You humiliated my family. You humiliated Brandon. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? I clenched my jaw. You mean like trying to get me fired? Or smearing my name all over the internet? Margot didn't even deny it. Actions have repercussions, dear. You should have known better. My heart pounded, but I refused to let her hear even an ounce of fear in my voice. No, Margot. You should have known better. Because you picked a fight with the wrong woman. She scoffed. What exactly do you think you can do, sweetheart? I have influence. Connections. People respect me. I smirked. We'll see about that. Then I hung up. Because Margot had just made a critical mistake. She underestimated me. And I was about to show her just how badly she screwed up. The next morning, I made a plan. Margot thrived on appearances. Her precious image was her greatest weapon. But it was also her biggest weakness. So I took control of the story. I sat down, opened my laptop, and typed out a clear, measured statement. No theatrics. Just facts. It has come to my attention that false accusations are being made about me, both personally and professionally. I want to be absolutely clear, I will not stand for this kind of slander. For those who genuinely want the truth, my former fiancé's parents attempted to financially manipulate me before my wedding. When I refused to comply, they retaliated. I have nothing to hide. But I will not be belied into silence. Asterisk, asterisk, then I hit post. And the response? Immediate. People ate it up. The comments flooded in. Wow. His parents tried to control her? That's disgusting. This explains so much. I knew there was more to the story. Honestly, girl, you dodged a bullet. This family sounds toxic. Even news blogs picked it up. The whole situation had gone viral. And suddenly, Margot wasn't just the concerned mother of a heartbroken groom. She was a manipulative, controlling figure who got called out publicly. The backlash started fast. And it only got worse for her. With the internet on my side, it was time for the real takedown. I reached out to an old acquaintance, Rachel, a former event planner who had worked with Margot on several high-profile charity galas. I remembered Rachel once mentioning that Margot had a habit of cutting corners. I called her. Hey, Rachel. Do you still have those emails from Margot? The ones where she reallocated charity funds. A pause. Then, she laughed. Oh, Tessa. I thought you'd never ask. Bingo. Within a few hours, Rachel sent me screenshots. Emails showing Margot diverting fundraiser money into family expenses. Thousands of dollars. And guess who else I knew? A local reporter. I sent the emails to him. The next morning, it was everywhere. A headline on social media. Respected philanthropist accused of financial misconduct. Where did the money go? Margot's perfect image? Shattered. People who had once defended her now turned against her. The donors from her past events? Furious. Sponsors? Pulling out. And the best part? She couldn't blame me. Because I never even mentioned her name. All I did was hand the truth to someone who knew exactly what to do with it. 2 days later, Brandon called me. I almost didn't pick up. But something in me needed to hear what he had to say. I answered. What do you want, Brandon? He sighed heavily. Tessa, I had no idea about my mom's finances. I swear. I almost believed him. Almost. But then he added, I just don't understand why you had to do this. I laughed. Do this? Oh, Brandon. Your mother tried to ruin my career. She made the entire internet believe I was some heartless gold digger. But the second the truth about her comes out, you want to cry foul? It wasn't your business, Tessa. I scoffed. Neither was my wedding fund, but she sure as hell made that her business. Silence. Then, he muttered, I wish things were different. I smiled to myself. Me too, Brandon. But they're not. And they never will be. Then I hung up. And this time, I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just relief. Margot went quiet after that. No more Facebook rants. No more mysterious accusations. Nothing. She had bigger problems. Her reputation was ruined. Her charity work, gone. Her influence, shattered. And me? I moved on. I focused on work. I spent more time with Delilah. I traveled, something I hadn't been able to do when I was stuck under Brandon's family's thumb. One day, months later, I got a text from an unknown number. I almost ignored it. But then I opened it. I hope you're happy. No name. But I knew who it was. And this time, I just smiled. Because yes, I was.